All right, we'll give it a second. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, already let's just pull it up,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Falconer.
Okay.
Already got the
Falconer,
super
thank you,
sticker.
thank you, thank you for the
Gotta
199.
always gotta always
Sticker.
appreciate gotta always appreciate
Of
it. Gotta
course,
always
of
appreciate
course.
it. Yeah, but Jaden, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I had a great weekend for sports. I'll tell you that. Have
Yeah,
no
fair
complaints.
enough. Yeah.
The Jets, the 1-7 Jets. I'm all the way back on them right
Oh
now.
yeah.
One for Nick Mangold. Love that.
Yeah. Rest in
Jets are
peace.
back. Jets
Yeah.
are back.
hmm Um.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and now, yeah. Screw it. We'll just start it up. Welcome back to another episode of Primetime Live. Shay here with Jaden. Jaden, how did you feel? How you feeling about this weekend? I know you said pretty good football stuff for the most
I thought
part.
it was a great football weekend. A nice bounce back win for the Canes. Good stuff. Did what they needed to do. Win every single week. Just keep going. Thank you, Falconer, for the 305 as always. Slow start last week. Answer helicopters. Look. We were talking about this
Get the
on the
people in
call
there fast.
show.
You know what? Yeah.
We were talking about
Right
this
on
on the
point.
call-in show Thursday. We may need to start bringing in the helicopters because the student section the last 2 weeks. Granted, there were reasons for it, but the student section the last 2 weeks awful. You have
It's a little rough. It was a little
Louisville,
rough on
terrible
Saturday.
traffic, 3 points, whatever. This week was, the entire campus was at Key West. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do about it?
Can't
You
do much
move
about that.
forward. You move on. But a win's a win's a win. I will say it's the first thing that came to my mind. They started slow, really slow. I was a little nervous after the first drive of the game, but they held. They played the Miami football I was expecting. They won. They give up the 7 points. Out. 42 unanswered. Get out of there. Move to SMU. This was without Mesidor. This was with a lot of different movement from moving pieces and everything going on. Just a nice, easy win. Move forward. Move on to SMU.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, about a half of really rough football, and
Yes.
then offensive. About a half of really rough offensive football. I should be more clear, and then just complete domination the entire second half. Yeah, like it just got steamrolled. You got going a little late into that. What Miami you scored their we scored our first touchdown like in that second quarter, right?
Yeah, late second quarter, I
Late second
believe,
quarter,
was the
and then
touchdown.
come out of the half,
Yeah.
just play completely dominating football the rest of the way.
The
And
offense started pretty good to begin the game because they got the first drive of the game. They get on the field. They're moving in field goal range, and then the offense does what I've been kind of worried about recently is just kind of stalling out of either tunnel screen doesn't work, run up the middle doesn't work,
mhm.
right, and then you're at a third and long and it's an incomplete. Sets up a fourth and long. Carter Davis misses his first field goal of the season, and then Sanford gets the ball, scores on one of their easiest drives ever. It felt like they went
Yeah,
12 plays, 74 yards in no time.
like clockwork.
Yeah, it for a little bit. It felt like, is this what's going on? Like
Mhm.
something's got to. This is Stanford we're talking about here. This is a bad football team. Like you're letting them do this right away. Like come on, what's going on? And then the defense specifically after that drive nails. Absolute beautiful job by Heatherman and company. They were perfect defensively after that first drive. Offense took a little bit. There are a lot of boos actually on that
Oh
came.
yeah, I was in there. It was they
Yeah,
were booing. They were booing for a minute.
a lot of boos, but turned around. The Beck touchdown to CJ Daniels, another amazing grab from Daniels. And after that play, I think the run game slowly got more and more involved. They were tiring out the Stanford defenders, who were again they had like 16 injuries plus a 3,000-mile flight. It was going to be a tough game for them regardless. In the rain, the run game gets going a little bit. Mark Fletcher gets going, run, hold on to the football, play your brand of Miami football of physicality and all that. And that worked out. And they end up, with a 42-7 win when it looked like, maybe they win this game just by 2 scores. So I'll give them that. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah. You got to give them credit. You got to give the defense credit pretty much. Like
Oh, absolutely.
they gave up one drive, nothing else the rest of the way. So they get a bunch of credit for that game. And then the offense for finding its groove and then not letting off the gas pedal as the game went on. So feels like the first quarter and a half offensively really just more of just team play. And they were moving on a couple of other drives. It's just that they got into fourth and short. The CJ Daniels drop. They went for it a couple other times on fourth down, and they just really couldn't get it going. Get that last couple like the last play over the hump, and then that's pretty much from then on. running down the field the entire game, and it looked pretty easy. And another thing that powered them, Malachi Tony.
Oof.
I mean, just again, just a phenomenal game.
There's no words to describe how
Yeah.
good he is when he has the football in his hands.
Yeah,
Just
it's
give him the
insane.
football in his hands, and he is nuts. He
Mhm.
had was it another five catches, 55 yards. That wasn't even, in my opinion, what I thought he did best at. His punt returns were nuts. He got 2 punt returns. I believe he had 73 yards combined on them. He was making. I would love to know the amount of broken tackles he had, the amount of missed tackles were generated from all of Tony's grabs. He was his ability to be so shifty and explosive, break tackles, make guys miss. Just he's incredible. And I think there were 3 specific plays. It's the first there's 2 punt returns, and then I believe a 40-yard play on like one of the first drives of the game from Beck. It was a screen to him, and he is just moving. Like, I don't understand how a guy can move in that way. No guy should be able to move like that. Malachi Tony does. He's different. He's just different. Best true freshman in the country right now. The best offensive player in Miami, like without a doubt. Right now.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, you can't state his impact enough. I think what really got the offense over the hump in that second half was the fact that he was putting them in good field position, because like punt return down to the 30-yard line, I think pretty much both times got them within Stanford territory, set up an easy touchdown back-to-back times. And then the defense playing as well as it was also forced a bunch of turnovers. So you look at that really got the Miami offense kind of the jump start it needed to get fully going. And like every week, I feel like we're going to come in and say this. It's just outstanding to think that he should still be in his senior year of high school right now, and he's continuing to make plays week after week, game after game for this team.
He's putting the team on his back right now on the offense. That is nuts when you're considering that he's 18 and he's the guy that's putting his team on the back. He's the guy. It's incredible to watch. And I mean, we're talking about the defense. I have some numbers here that were just after that first drive of the game, the amount of adjustment, or how quick they were able to make adjustment to just stop Stanford entirely. Stanford had 4 first downs on their opening drive. For the rest of the game, they had 4 first downs. Their total yards per quarter. First quarter, 85 yards. That was, 74 of them, one drive of the game. Quarter 2, 12 yards. Quarter 3, -1 yards, including -17 rushing. Quarter 4, 48 yards. That's dominance all around on that defensive front. Heatherman did an awesome job. No Akeem Mesidor, no problem. Armando Blunt got in. He made a pretty big impact. Marquise Lightfoot was big. Bain was still making his presence felt. You had David Blay and you had Donson Simpson. You had guys everywhere on Stanford. They were killing them in the run. They were destroying them in the run game on defense. And then they also made Ben Goldbranson he wasn't really able to do anything after that first drive. He was pretty much lost after that. So it was just that defense gets a ton of credit, because without that defense, I don't know where Miami is, because that defense is unbelievable right now.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said earlier when I was talking about the Tony punt returns, like not only did they just completely shut out the Stanford offense, they gave the Miami offense a little bit. They gave the Miami offense the ball in scoring position with was it 2 or 3 interceptions?
It was 2 interceptions. You had the 2 punt returns, and then you had the Wesley Saint interception. He returned it to the 3 yard.
Wesley Saint interception gets you within the 10-yard line, and then
they score on the very next play.
Yeah,
right away, immediate scoring impact. That was probably the different. Like when you look at what was the game changing play, I would say that one, because Miami's, I believe, is up either 1 or 2. I believe 1 score at that point. I think it's 14-7. They get the interception. They then get the Mark Fletcher second touchdown of the game. Now you're up 2 scores. All you got to do is hold on to the game, and they did. And then you had the Xavier Lucas interception, which was a nice pick. He made his first as a Cane. He was really good. Had a sack as well. I thought he was everywhere on the field. I thought the whole defense is I don't think there's a single person I thought played poorly on that defensive front. They cleaned up the missed tackles for the most part.
Once again, literally, I think that was really only a problem the first drive.
Yeah.
I think
if I were to say anything, David Blay had 2 penalties to begin. He had 2 offside penalties.
Yeah. Which another thing, I guess, just to look at the season, the continued pre-snap penalties that have really killed this team.
It's got to change.
Yeah, that's got to change. That's got to be the one thing that gets cleaned up.
Yeah. But a
Yeah.
lot of this isn't like a nitpicking game where you can say like for the most part like it was a fine ball game. They did all they need to do. They won the football game convincingly. They even covered the spread. They played a perfect brand of football. But if we're gonna start nitpicking, that's got to change. The
Yeah,
penalties.
because in the big games, that's what killed that's what killed Miami in part against Louisville. Just dumb penalties consistently. It's what's gonna result in loss in this league, especially close games against great teams. Like you can't
Yep.
have the dumb penalties. So
It's that, and it's also the slow start for their offense was really it was a concern for me for sure because it felt like they were just running the same plays. There was a lack of creativity of this run up, in shotgun, run up the middle, run up the middle, run up the middle, and then just this, and then tunnel screen, tunnel screen. It just was not really doing anything. And over time, it was great. Over time, it was great, but throughout like the beginning of the season or the beginning of like in the first half, it just was not working. And I have a tweet from Barry Jackson, our one of the best in South Florida. He was, Shan Dawson today during the his press conference was talking about why the Canes don't only run the ball up the middle, because which is what we've been talking about, why they don't ever, go outside. He said the question doesn't make sense and asked the reporter where he wants the ball to go. Said all teams who run out of the shotgun out of the A or B gap 90% of the time. He said, in quote, I'm 100% good with the ball hitting the A or B gap. How do you want me to get outside the ball with a running back? I don't obsess about that nearly as much as you or our fans do. Interesting.
interesting statement. In all honesty, like I get if that's one thing, but like if you're gonna run out of the shotgun, maybe the which one that's that's usually not true. I don't think 90% of the time you're gonna see that. But like out of shotgun, just running up the gut, AB. But I'm pretty sure it happens a bunch. It's inside zone or gap or not gap or duo, whatever you want to call it, is a fairly commonly run play. But also we've seen Miami, maybe pull a guard, get like just find a way to kind of open up the outside a little bit. And we saw a little bit later in the game with a couple runs to Jordan Lyle hit one to the outside.
Even Hellcat Humphrey, I believe, had a nice couple outside runs.
Yeah, like it's doable. Like
Yeah.
it's like when Malachi Tony got the jet sweep. Not that you're going to run a bunch of jet sweeps and anything, but there's ways to get the guy out, to the outside. And even if you don't want to run to the outside out of shotgun, go under center.
Yeah.
Like there's ways to kind of hit the edge without necessarily being like, oh, we're just going to jet sweep it or touch pass. Like, I I get it. It's been a constant criticism, and I think it's safer. Honestly, you're gonna get there's a higher chance if you try and bounce it outside, you're gonna lose yardage trying to run those types of plays, which I get. But
Yeah.
I think you gotta run the risk for but I think the problem is this Miami run game is in spurts just become so predictable where especially when they run a bunch of tight sets, when you're not really gonna take advantage of defenses packing it in by getting the ball to the outside as much, then you're not confusing the defense, which I think on offense you got to try and here and there put some wrinkles in, even if that's what you want to do for the most part.
And I would say that it doesn't help that Brockermeyer's probably one of your weaker offensive linemen. Out of your amazing offensive line, Brockermeyer is probably your weakest of them, and you're going to continue to run behind him and the guards instead of maybe Maui Noah or Markel Bell. I would say I feel like you should probably go through that. It helps. It just helps to do something different, because when you're going to continue to run up the middle over and over and over, you're right. It's super predictable. I feel like I've seen that play over and over again. If he's not doing that, then he's going to call a nice screen outside to Daniels or Tony or whatever. And it's like for Tony, it's great because he's awesome yards after catch. But for some of these guys, is it necessary to continue to call these plays instead of, I don't know, dicing up, maybe an RPO, doing some, because last year they were heavy in the RPO system and it worked out. It was a really nice system that was working with Cam Ward. With Beck, it's a little bit different because of who he is as a player. But I feel like you can do other things than continuously running the ball in the way that they are. Now, it didn't end up mattering all that much because Mark Fletcher had such a great game. The numbers were, 24 carries, 106 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I believe the numbers were 23 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 multi-touchdown performance. His first career 3 touchdown performance. Averaged 4.6 yards per carry. I believe he had his longest run was like 16 yards. Was bodying guys everywhere. He was great. Lyle had a touchdown. His name Hellcat had a touchdown. They all played. The run game was great. They had 5 total touchdowns. They figured it out. Had 64 rushes in the third quarter, 66 in the fourth. They played much better in the towards the end of the game, but I feel like maybe in the first half they were just wearing the defensive line down, knowing that Stanford was really thin there. But to me, it just looked like a struggle out there in the beginning, at least the first half offensively.
Yeah, which I get if that's like I get running. You have a couple of really big backs who we're going to wear on a defense regardless. So, which I get, use that big offensive line, pound up the middle, and kind of work your way through the game that way. But I just feel like I feel like you're like you can wear on a team that way, and like we saw the Miami offense get going late against Louisville because maybe Louisville was gassed, Louisville didn't have the guys, whatever. Regardless, we saw them get going late, but like I just think in order to I get you want to set the tone by running it being physical within the between the inside, but just set the tone by just blowing the team out of the water, throwing everything you have at them. Maybe not everything, you know what I mean, but like throwing everything you got at them early on, and don't play like you deserve this game, which it's a weird way to say it, but I think like when you go into a game expecting, okay, we're going to win this regardless, so let's just throw our vanilla playbook at them. Then you get games like Louisville where things aren't going well early on because you're trying the most simple things, and then it's like, well, we have to kick it in the gear, which they couldn't do. They almost did, but they couldn't fully get to last week, and now we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens against SMU.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they have a different mindset depending on the team they face, and to me, that could be a problem because every time I watch them play, in the last few years, technically under Cristobal, when you look at some of these games against big teams where you have Notre Dame, FSU, UF, these are big games, and their mindset is we're gonna kill you, we're gonna beat the hell out of you, and they do that. They out physical you. They've out physical them. They've made some awesome plays on offense in all facets. They've come out hot. They've done what they need to do, and they've won these games convincing, or like in a very convincing fashion. But against some of these ACC opponents last year, this year, feels like they're in this kind of not doing that, where you're kind of let them linger into this game longer than they should. You had Stanford in this game. Stanford shouldn't have been in this game
past
all.
Yeah,
like at all. They should not have been in this game. I understand they won by 31. We're very happy they won by that number. Like they won that game convincingly, but it took 40. It took scoring, was it 5 touchdowns in the second half?
Yeah,
and playing that kind of football in the second half for it to happen. I like it again. We're nitpicking here, but it feels like it could be a thing. It could be an issue where in the first half you're not bringing that offense right away.
Yeah, by the way, I've been looking off screen for a second because I was trying to figure out the first half rushes on those. So 9 for 32 for Fletch during the first half, 3 for 8 for Lyle in the first half. Only guy, Malachi Tony, 1 for 13, 1 rush for 13 yards. Guess what that was on? It's like, I get it. It's easier and it's less. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just simpler just to get to the inside, hit one cut straight up, have one of your backs go up and push the pile for some yardage and wear on their defensive line. But it's not giving you these great dividends early on. And look at the previous 2 games against better team. Maybe FSU lost to Stanford, so I don't know. But you know what I mean. Other teams in more competitive games are just shutting down the run the entire game, even though that's what you're committing to. You're not really wearing on those teams in the run at all. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I don't think for SMU, like we'll talk about SMU, but when you look at how SMU plays or how their defense is, they're a very strong run defense. Their passing defense is awful. So you're going to have to see an amazing, really awesome passing attack next week, which is different to what they've been playing the last few weeks of try to establish the run. And if it doesn't work, then you go to the pass. this week it worked because they established a run. They made Beck's life easier, which was a very positive thing that they made Beck's life easier because they're able to run the ball so well. When you don't, we see a game like Louisville. So you have to kind of you also don't know what kind of game I guess right now we're getting from Beck. And on Saturday, it's kind of going to matter if the run game maybe doesn't do as well as you think they do. You're going to need Beck to kind of have to make some big throws. But I thought he had a very fine game managing like game this week. 21 for 28, 189 yards, 1 touchdown. He was accurate. He made good throws. He was smart with his choices. He didn't throw a lot of deep balls, but he didn't need to. So I thought it wasn't like for a total game manager, what we kept kind of wanting him to do. I thought he played that kind of game.
Yeah, absolutely. He kind of did exactly what he was needed to, dice up the defense, nothing too difficult, no deep shots really.
Yeah.
And you kind of let the game come to you, and it did.
I thought he had
Worked your way
more.
down the field. This is what we're talking about. Yeah, Anthony. Maybe that's a good point. Maybe they don't trust Inez and whoever they have at left guard. Just between that,
McCoy
it's Okanola, it's Matthew
Nola.
McCoy. Like they move a bunch of guys around like in that spot. So maybe it's the fact that he doesn't trust his guards to get out there and pull. Yeah, enough to pull outside of the. Yeah, honestly, that's a fair point. Maybe that's just not trusting your guards to kind of get out there and pull, and you just prefer them just book it straight up the field.
I mean, it's the thing is though that like Dawson's his comments did not kind of represent that idea. His was more or less like, well, we're in shotgun, we're gonna run the football up the middle. Like,
yeah, they don't really. I get it doesn't really line up, but I get if you're Dawson, you don't want to be like, oh, we don't necessarily trust guys to kind of get out there and pull.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
They don't trust the zone blocking, kind of trying to get that downhill, and pass off guys to the second level. I don't know. Maybe it's just they just prefer. It's a great question. If in terms of I don't think it's a personnel issue in terms of that. I think it's just more of you want to wear on them from the inside and then get the passing game going.
Was this an issue last year? I'm trying to remember because the way that they had Damian, then you had Fletcher, AJ Allen, and Lyle in that kind of 4 group. I'm trying to remember. Damian was kind of had to do it him. He had to break a lot of tackles. He was also running up the middle heavy. Fletcher too. Lyle, they were using. I have one play that I remember where he went outside and had a 93-yard touchdown run against USF. Now it was in garbage time, whatever, but I believe that play he was went down the sideline. So I am curious what it is. It feels like it's an obsession or this kind of like game plan. We're gonna run up the middle. We're gonna just keep running. And if your idea is, hey, we're gonna tire out the defensive line, sure. I guess in the late game it's gonna work out, but you're gonna have to have a lead if you want that kind of idea to work. Right? It's like I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, that's like my only. I guess it's kind of like my only other. Besides the fact that like you don't think Fletcher Marty have the speed to kind of hit the outside on some of those runs.
Lyle does. Lyle
definitely does, and we did see it a little bit this last game when like they called a couple of outside runs for him. One of them was I think his touchdown. I forget. I'm trying to think about his touchdown right now, but like I think his touchdown was an inside zone play you're talking about.
Huh. The Lyle run, if it's the Lyle run, that's interesting. So they just I think it's a Dawson thing that he in shotgun, he's just going to run the football up the middle. And I think that's just his, whatever's in his brain where maybe in his game plan where he's just thinking it doesn't make sense for us to run on the outside, like advantage wise. Like it just makes sense for us to run up the middle. If that's kind of the logic, if that's kind of the like, I guess I am struggling to see. I want some more creativity within this run game. You mentioned it. The end arounds work. The end arounds work because right now the game plan for these defenses is just go. It's gonna be a run up the middle. So why not do something different? Why not change like 1 or 2 plays in a drive instead of run up the middle? Do something else. Like you don't have to call the same play over and over again. It just it feels very vanilla, very very vanilla. And I'm hoping that as the season goes on, even though we're down to like the last 5 games of the year, it's gotta change.
Great. Anthony, you got.
It's a great
This is a
question.
great question.
I don't think LSU is going to want Dawson.
That would be an aggressive move.
I saw Arkansas was also interested in him too. To
Mhm.
be fair, we're going to talk about it at the end of the show, but the head coaching carousel at the end of the season is going to be
It is going to be insane
because right now, like this doesn't include Luke Fickell probably getting fired from Wisconsin and whatever situation's happening at Florida State. There's some other jobs that might get fired, that might leave some openings. Like it's pretty crazy. Rhett Lashley might leave for another job. So you're looking at a lot of these different, things going on. I don't know if would you prefer them going internal or do you think they would hire someone from the outside?
I mean, it depends on cause I'm sorry, I don't know too much ball on the rest of the assistant coaching staff.
I know it's obviously Mirabal on the O line.
Yeah, Mirabal,
And
but I feel
then
like he's kind of
Chris
really good
Beard, the receiver coach.
in his own group. I probably wouldn't hire from internal. I would hire internally if that would have like good implications in terms of keeping guys around. Like I think if there's some guys who are going to leave after Dawson, if Dawson would dip, then that I would worry about that. So I might hire internally if there's guys who are key in the recruitment of certain, especially on the skill positions. I think Mirabal is enough to draw the offensive line people still there, but like the skill position people, I'm wondering who if I was going to hire internally, who have like the big ties that have really been in terms of recruiting.
Okay. Yeah, I can see Dawson leaving. We were thinking about this on Thursday. I mean, Jeff Brom would not leave. He's having a fun time at Louisville right now. I don't think he wants to. He would take a down position to be a coordinator at Miami. I don't think we should be looking at if we were to be looking at head coaches maybe because I don't know the first guy I think of, which I don't think he would count. The Oklahoma OC last year, who's now the North Texas head coach, he wouldn't leave to then, at least Scott Moore is his name. He wouldn't leave to then take another offensive coordinator position. He would probably go for another higher level, head coaching position.
Yeah, especially since the way I think UNT is 6-1 this season. If I'm not wrong.
Like Jeff Brom, if he were to leave, he would leave for another head coaching position.
Yeah.
The way that Brent Key might leave Georgia Tech for a head coaching hire. Like these guys. Like right now, we're in a spot where I don't think we're going to see a head coach that's currently a head coach unless they get fired leave for an OC job. So I don't know. I don't think Jeff Brom. I can't see happening. I think Dawson. They've been rumoring Dawson to leave for a while now. So I
mean, you'll think about last year when it was like. I mean, I would even consider it this year if he gets a call from Tennessee when they have their whole new coaching staff come in, to go coach up Cam. But
yeah,
Jeff Traylor.
There's another one. I like Temple's head coach is getting a lot of buzz right now because he might go for another head coaching job or whatever. Like, I don't know if we're gonna be able to hire like a lower level offensive coordinator or a lower level head coach and have them become the OC unless because of the way that the coaching carousel is gonna be this year. Like, there's just so many head coaching positions that are gonna be open that it could we don't know. We truly don't know anything right now. But it's a really good thought for the rest of the season. Like, I think it's going to be nuts what's going to go on between every school. Having LSU and Penn State having head coaching positions open is nuts. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty intrigued by what's going to go on. I'm not familiar with some of these lower level program names. But we're gonna find out.
So I'm looking through right now, and
Jeff Traylor is a UTSA head coach.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how UTSA is playing right now.
I mean, right now UTSA is 3-4, but in all fairness, their offense has been kind of doing some really good things this year. One of their got a couple guys averaging over 7 yards per carry on the ground, which is
Mike McDaniel would likely take a coordinator job in the NFL if he got fired. I think.
Yeah,
but the Niners would probably welcome him back. I would say, again, if one of those head coaches that are like these veterans, like how the way that Matt Patricia is like a veteran, been around the league, then he goes to Ohio State and now is an awesome defensive coordinator. You could see something like that with I don't imagine it happening, but like if Bill O'Brien got fired and then
Hmm.
OC job at Miami, wouldn't hate that. Someone like if something like that happened, because like Bill O'Brien was the Bama OC, and then he took the job at Boston College. So there's a lot of I have no idea. All speculation. I have no clue what anything's gonna look like right now. I don't think McDaniel would be even in the question.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see that. I think McDaniel is kind of going to just sit and wait. And
The main guy I thought for LSU right away to me was Joe Brady, because he has the LSU ties. I know he's a
well, I think we're
coordinator.
just talking about. I think we need a scheme that knows how to utilize software talent because the last few schemes I've seen.
Yeah, I mean Lashley was the best out of all of them, and of course he takes he gets the SMU job, and you're also seeing the effect of it because SMU has so many transfers that went to that. A lot of Miami's transfers all went to SMU because the system
Yeah,
probably a better offensive system, truthfully. Although they're not very happy with Lashley's system right now after last Saturday's game, which was a total disaster.
yeah, that was a disaster of a game.
And he can recruit South Florida talent. That's the other thing. He's got a big South Florida connection. But let's get right into the SMU stuff right now. So the first thing I see when I'm looking at them, I watched their game on Saturday. They sucked. They were brutal. So the first thing I saw from that game on Saturday was 2 minutes left. SMU forces a Wake Forest fumble in the goal, in the end zone. SMU has the ball with 2 minutes left. Wake Forest is all three of their timeouts. They use all their timeouts. SMU goes 3 and out. SMU punts, terrible punt. It was like a 30-yard punt. Wake Forest has the ball in on their own 40 with like 16 seconds left. They get one 20-yard throw, spike the football, 53-yard field goal for the win. It was a disaster class from SMU. They played it so poorly. I thought they handled every aspect of it wrong. And then they lost to a bad Wake Forest team on the road. Their stats were even worse on offense. They had 246 total yards, 75 rushing, 8 total first downs, 3 turnovers, and went 4 for 17 on third down. They now lead college football in turnovers with 13 and interceptions with 8. Definitely somewhere that Miami should be able to exploit as for Saturday.
Yep, and I mean, yeah, we've kind of seen like a kind of a come down after their big welcome to the ACC last year. I don't really know necessarily what to toss in on one specific thing. They did bring back a lot of the same guys. I know they don't have the running back Brashard Smith anymore,
Yep.
who's over there, but yeah, so I can't. I mean, Kevin Jennings just not playing the same. 8 interceptions already this season after he had. I mean, he didn't have a great touchdown interception ratio last year, 23 to 11, but 8 already, 17 touchdowns. Didn't play great against Wake. Their offense was just kind of like their big. The big thing about them was that they were this very flashy, explosive offensive team, and that really has kind of come down this year. And with that, it's been a little bit rough for them trying to build on last year.
Yeah.
So is this again?
Now.
We're gonna say this about pretty much the rest of these teams Miami's gonna play. A game Miami should most definitely win. I know you're traveling on the road for the first time out of the state all year, but it's a team that's struggling, and it's a team coming off probably its worst game of the season. If I had to,
Yeah, they were at least within like TCU, and I believe the other loss was Baylor. They were good games.
Yeah, double overtime against Baylor, TCU. You're what? I think they were pretty much in that.
They were in that game for the most part. Wake was a game they should have won, yes, but they also had an awful 2-minute clock management, and then let Wake Forest kick a 53-yard field goal for the win. So it's, that's a bad that's a bad loss. You put up 12 points against Wake Forest. That's not a good thing to do. And their defense is not good. Like they had a good game against Wake Forest defense or against Wake Forest offense on defense last week, but they still allow the second most passing yards a game, 303. But they are like in the top 30 in run defense, allowing 95.5 rushing yards a game. It's kind of what I was talking about. Beck is going to really need to have a really strong showing, in my opinion, against a bad, SMU plays like a Pac-12 team most of the time, where they're not Pac-12, Big 12 team where they are gonna end up in shootouts. Especially, I mean, think of it, when they played Baylor and TCU. Those games were basically shootouts. So you could see something else like that. But with Kevin Jennings playing as poorly as he has so far, I don't know. For Miami, I'm thinking right away, you got to force those turnovers against a team that leads the league and leads football in turnovers. And then Beck's gonna have to have a really good game. So that's got to be a really good Tony game, a really good Daniels game, wide receiver 3, which we don't know. We have no idea what that's gonna look like. So.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they turned the ball over a lot. Miami got a couple last week, so you got to force some more. But at the same time, like we're gonna see how this Miami defense responds to teams kind of thinking they have the blueprint of Stanford did, which is quick game, quick game, quick game. Try and neutralize that pass rush. Try and make sure Ruben Bain, if Mesereau's back and healthy, don't get home really fast.
He should be
But
playing.
at the same time, we saw Miami during that Louisville game and during last week kind of adjust to teams trying to hit them quick between the improved tackling, guys getting swarmed to the ball faster, and guys just breaking on those shorter routes better than they did last week. So, and just switching things up scheme wise.
Yeah.
So I think Miami should be able to handle this SMU team. Kevin Jennings we've seen Miami play a couple of dual threat quarterbacks, elusive guys, and they did a pretty good job against Tommy Castellanos that week. Byron Brown, same deal.
Yeah.
So they've done well against this defensive line has done well against guys who can get on the move, and they're way athletic enough to chase these guys down, put pressure on them, keep them from taking over the game in that sense. So I'm confident. I'm confident in this defensive line to do what they do, and this defense, kind of how I saw them adjust during that Stanford game, and how I saw them adjust towards the back end of that Louisville game. Like just get going, figure things out, and I know Rob Duke's over here saying we won't make the playoffs with this coaching staff, which is fair. Which you could see not
yeah. Like
Heatherman, I'm very much a believer in what Heatherman's been doing this season, and so
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement that the coaching staff has not, at least again, that before Louisville, this team was at its peak. They blew out FSU for 3 quarters. They had wins against Notre Dame, UF, and USF. Like they were playing, and then you have the loss to Louisville by 3 points in a game where Beck threw 4 picks. The run game did not do anything, and the defense played its worst game. Everything went bad, and they figured they bounced back in the second half against Stanford. We're gonna see SMU and see if they can make adjustments. If they make the right adjustments, I can believe that this team can easily make the playoffs against again, we've looked at the schedule countless times. It's not very hard.
I believe I saw a tweet about it today. I believe Miami at 11-1. They're like 97% chance.
Yeah.
To make the playoff.
But isn't I saw it where it was like if they go 11-1 and don't make the AC championship game, they're basically a shoe-in for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. They're shooing for the playoff if they're 11-1. But if
they do make the conference championship, but they lose it, the percentage goes down, which is so dumb. But again,
yeah, I get it.
It's
dumb. It is a little bit. It is a little bit, honestly.
If you go 11-1, but you're the number 3 team in the ACC, you have a better chance of making it than being an 11-2 team who was forced to play an extra game because they were good. It's so dumb.
Yeah, that's fair.
Schedule rest of the season is so light. It's after it's SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, Pitt. Virginia Tech and Pitt being on the road, those are tough. I'll give you those 2. The rest, Syracuse is bad. They're really bad this year without Steve Angeli. NC State has not been good. They got blown out by Pitt last week. SMU, we just saw them get lose that kind of game to Wake. If Miami loses one of these games, I won't even be advocating, I don't think, for them to make the playoffs because you would have 2 dumb losses.
Yeah, exactly. You can't. I wouldn't. It's like last year where
yes,
you blew it. There's not much.
Exactly.
You blew it. There's not much. We were talking about it earlier, Rob. It was a rough listen. Just hearing some of the things. I didn't get to see the full press conference, but
I was
Like,
not a fan of him being
yeah,
so like and I would say arrogant. What's the
aloof.
word? No, stubborn. I would say
Yeah.
the way that he's gonna just stick to his play calls or not really change much up. It's a little bit of a concern in my opinion because like obviously they played such an awesome game as FSU, but then Louisville, I thought they didn't play a very good game on offense. Thought the system wasn't the game plan wasn't great, and then I like no one trusts Mario, and then like that last week, this first half to me was a disaster. I thought I thought he did a bad job in the first half. Worked out in the second half because again, it's Stanford, a bad team that's hurt and has issues. It's like I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it with Dawson. It feels like the fan base is split between it, where it's half the fan base is fine with him right now, the other one wants him gone. I can't. This was happened last year too. I did remember seeing that last year too. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's it's just annoying a little bit. Like, we can all see that the run game wasn't very consistent, and we can all kind of see where they're
Yes.
going with the ball.
Yes.
And to just act like there's no other way to kind of fool teams and get around teams, I just think is like, I just thought it was a little disingenuous. I
I
understand. I understand. Yeah, like, exact like Charles over here.
but see that was my thought as well. Like if which because it was two things in that first half where the defense started slow in the opening drive, they got punched in the face and then had to make the adjustments, which they did. They played a great game, and then on the offensive side, vanilla offense that didn't work in Stanford territory, and then it didn't work in the end of at the end of the second half until that touchdown to CJ Daniels. It was like, and then run. You got to run outside. You have to run outside the A gap. That to me is like we've been saying that all
Yeah.
season, but it does bother us that like he's unwilling to change it, unwilling to think otherwise from it, but we got to keep winning, and
Mhm.
they got to clean up. They got to clean up some things. Like again, let's think about this for a second. We did win 42-7 to Stanford. Like we won. We had a bounce back win. Like we did bounce back. There are concerns that we can still have on this team, however, and that we should be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely concerns, and it wasn't as big of like a noticeable thing, kind of how he's pushing to the side. But like, you think about last week's press conference, and he was like, "The run game, it is what it is. We'll get it going at some point." Not obviously not quoting him word for word, but it was something to that effect. And you're just like, "Oh, that doesn't really address the issue right now." And I get it. He also in that press conference last week was like, obviously I can't tell you the exact adjustments we're gonna make, but we're gonna make adjustments. And in all fairness, at least this week, didn't really see too many adjustments for most of the game. In all honesty, maybe it was just execute better, which they did execute better. Guys held their block, were able to push guys around, hold their blocks for longer. Running backs fell forward, got extra yards, but yeah, like, you can do that against Stanford, who sucks. But can you do that against? We'll see SMU this week, but not that SMU's been great this season. Or can you do that against whoever you'll play in the college football playoff if you get there, or the ACC championship if you get there, or if somehow neither, this bowl game, like regardless of where the season goes, like you're gonna want to see how this team responds and plays against great teams this season, because
Yep.
we're not going to see it. We're not going to see another great team the rest of this regular season.
Yep.
And so, well, we want to see them winning on the margin that they didn't when they last played a really good team, because you didn't win all. Your run game couldn't get going against Louisville the entire game, and so we want to see it get going early on against these bad teams rather than wait until the fourth quarter when you're already blown. When we've forced when we forced two turnovers and we've given you the ball inside the 40 twice because of Malachi Tony punt returns. Like, what happens when we got to make an 80-yard drive, which I believe they did work their way down on the field on that the one that resulted in that CD Daniels catch. But
Yeah.
early on, get at them quick. And yeah, you can't do. I named out of Syracuse. Syracuse just I don't think has been good at all this year. But
No.
but
Since like Jelly
Pitt's
went
fair.
down,
Pitt's
they've been
fair.
awful.
Pitt's played hard.
It's
They've
just
been in a lot of games,
It's
and
just
yeah.
it. It's I would because even Vodtech. I know Vodtech just beat Cal. I can't say that like I don't know. I'm not afraid of them.
I think the bottom of the ACC is just gonna like
Yeah,
and even Virginia. I think if you all watch Virginia this week, like
oh my gosh, I cannot believe that UNC did not win that football game.
yeah,
Cannot believe UNC did not win that game. Virginia is going to lose at some point this year.
Virginia has to. They
I'm
literally play
confident
with
in
fire all.
They still have Cal and they still have Duke.
I think that was their third overtime win this season.
Yeah,
so like
they're playing solely like straight up with fire.
Mhm.
Like they didn't even they looked awful last week against UNC. And I'm again the bad UNC. Like UNC is the worst team in the conference currently.
Yeah.
So they looked awful against them. They're going to lose a game. Louisville and Georgia Tech are playing very good football. You got to give them credit.
Yeah.
They're playing very good football. And then Miami's, obviously right there. The focus, I guess, I'm going to keep saying is just keep winning your games and control what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have my fears, especially with Pitt, because it'd be your second straight road game in the Northeast. It's definitely not one game. Like I have my fears on that one.
Yeah, both the final two games,
like they're trap games. They're
trap. They're 100% trap games. They're not necessarily the best teams.
Like Miami is like you can look at a team and say, "Oh, Miami knows how to win the games they're supposed to win." We haven't really been able to say that.
No, that's the problem. We won the games
as we enter November. We're entering the Mario zone of he's 4-10 in November and December. And that is our concern. And that is something that we need to see something change. We need to see a he's going to keep going like this. Oh, like we got to keep playing our best brand of football, blah, 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 whatever. He says the same thing. Execute. Play your best brand of football. You have to win the games you're supposed to win. Have to.
Yeah, you gotta win the games you're supposed to win. And we can't hopefully we've been wanting to see if this is a different Miami team or not. We're going to see this week. We're going to see SMU. It's on the road. There's a lot, some things going against you there, having to travel and all that. It's your first road game of the season, but gotta work through it all. Like not that it was a far road trip, but we saw them handle a road trip earlier this season and going into very hostile territory. But this one's going to be a little bit different. Probably a better team. SMU's a better team than Florida State.
Yeah, they are.
At least the way Florida State's played Miami game and all. I mean, who they lose to before they played us?
Was it? Oh, Virginia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like the Virginia game and on FSU hasn't been a good team, but point being, like Miami has gone on the road and won a game, a big game. FSU was ranked at the time. It was a big game. And we got to see if will you slip up or not here? Will you slip up or not at the end of the season? Like at this point, it is going to test, is this a different team? Because now we're in November. We're not officially, but Saturday is November starts. And we're going to see first day of the month. Is this a different football team?
And Rob makes a question that's kind of been, at least I've been thinking about a lot about Mario's, his ceiling where he is. If his ceiling, say that Miami does win 10 games this year, they go 10-2, miss the playoffs again, I'd be absolutely pissed if they did that because you'd be wasting another team. If they go 10-2, miss the playoffs, I would have my concerns that Mario Cristobal is a 10-win max coach. That is like the problem is if you were to get rid of Mario, is the grass always greener? Can you get a replacement coach that is going to guarantee you more than 10 wins? I can't guarantee you that. So it's the James Franklin question. Because James Franklin was going to guarantee you 10 wins at Penn State. Penn State got sick of that after the Oregon loss where you can't win the big one. He gets fired after UCLA or after Northwestern. He's gone, and now they have to find a guy that can. Where Penn State's saying, "Hey, can you give us 11 wins or 12 wins as your ceiling?" Mario's in that spot of this is the year he has to kind of shut that narrative up of I'm more than a 10-win coach. I can lead a team into a playoff and win at least a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be the question. And are you okay with that? Yeah, that is the bigger question.
That's the key question.
Are you okay with? But I think if it were certain schools, like I'm pretty sure. So I'm not to throw shade on any program, but I'm pretty sure Syracuse or Virginia would love to be winning 10 games consistently you know,
But us for 20 years have been begging for this from Mario.
yeah,
They've
yeah,
been
yeah, which is fair, I guess. If for a year or two, that's what it is, getting 10 wins and a bowl, hopefully a bowl win, regardless. But
yeah,
it's
it's a
one
grass
thing.
is always greener situation of like 10 if you have like 10 straight years of 10 plus winning season or 10 win seasons, but like that's it. Like that is a to me that's like yes, but then it's at this point we've the culture has grown. We need to now focus on
Yeah,
max money.
the expectations have risen. Like,
Yes,
you've gotten this program past the base level that it was when you got here.
yes,
100% got to give him all the credit that he has in terms of building up the program back
yes,
to be
yes,
an ACC contender. But now you actually have to go and win the ACC.
yes.
Like, you can't. Rob again brought up the point. What if this 2 more years never make the ACC championship game? Don't sniff the actual championship, and then we're
That's
not we're
that's
not getting a guaranteed playoff berth.
yeah.
You're missing the playoffs just because of it. Like,
Yeah,
fair enough. Like,
it's been 20 years. Like they got to make the playoff. They got to make the championship at some point. Like,
yeah.
and this year to me, I thought was there was no
And
other
now you're relying on other teams to slip up. Which,
exactly. And it's. I don't want to sound any alarm yet. Obviously, because again, Mario Cristobal has done an awesome job building this program back to what it is. Like to be this perennial threat again is awesome. But now we're in this thought of if we fire him, can we, is it like a greed thing of, can I fire him to get someone that can get me 11 or 12 wins? I don't even know if there's a guy available that can give you that. So I think we should be very thankful and grateful for Mario at the moment. But if this is a trend that continues for continuous years, yeah, the questions are going to have to start coming up. These are there's tough questions are going to have to be asked. But if you're a program like current FSU, where they want Norvell out, or all like Wisconsin, who can't the last few years have been awful for them. Some of these programs that were accustomed to 10-win seasons, they fired a guy that was because they thought that the next guy was going to do better. That doesn't happen. It's like maybe you're okay with Mario. Maybe you are. It's like it's this really tough question that you have to ask yourself, and I don't know currently where I'd be at if I had that question.
yeah, it is very tough. But kind of get to our Mario getting paid too much. Not
Yeah,
that.
it's always been the thought with Mario that
Yeah.
he is an unbelievable recruiter. He doesn't do like in terms of the game day operation stuff. He doesn't do play calling. The main thing he's really doing is certain, obviously certain situations.
Mid-game decisions,
Yeah,
operating the locker room. Which,
yeah,
in all fairness, I haven't heard a bad thing said about Mario in terms of his players enjoy being around him.
yes,
So
yes, he's a player's coach for sure. I mean, if you're gonna say an issue of him, he's not a very good head coach in mid-game adjustments and
yeah,
mid-game moves. He's awful at clock management. He's like objectively he's bad at it. His teams have perennially been chokers. He can't win big. He can't win the easy games. It's like, yeah, these are all concerns with Morrow that have been a problem for years. This season to me is like it's his year for him to do like kind of rewrite that entire narrative. If there
yeah,
was a year, this is the year he's got to do it. And that kind of falls on Mario to kind of change it himself, to rewrite history for himself.
100%. He's gonna have to rewrite history a little bit.
That's an awesome call. I mean, yeah, he'd be an awesome.
If he had a GM, I mean, if he had a
He'd be an
GM
awesome
job,
GM.
I mean, if he was just in charge of personnel, uh, I'm a Pats fan, so this always comes up. But like, if you gave Bill Belichick, like, you can't. It's like at the end of Bill's time, it was like, well, he sucks as the GM, but he's still the head coach, and he's really good at doing that. So what if we just fired him as the GM? You can't really do that. Like, it's one of those things where, like, it would feel too weird to just strip away half of his title just because he's really good at one thing.
Yeah.
And and I think even just being in the locker room, players would still be not that it's a real thing that could ever happen, but like, players would be split in terms of, well, you just got rid of him as a coach. He's going to be there with me all the time. He's giving me these opportunities, yada yada. So I think it would honestly split players if you brought somebody up to be the head coach and cast Mario off in terms of just being GM, recruiting, dealing with NIL and everything.
Unless he wanted the GM
Unless
spot.
Unless that was really what he wanted to do. But I
Brad
doubt that.
Stevens from the Celtics wanted, like, he was the head coach, awesome head coach. He wanted a front office job, so he takes the front office job and they hire Joe Mazzulla, and it works perfectly for Boston. if Miami if Marcus Bell wants to be the GM right now, hell yeah, be the GM, and we'll take in someone else to be the head coach. I'll do that any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see that happening.
I can't see a world where that happens
Yeah,
at all.
me
And
too.
once again, maybe there is something in how he gets players to play for him that you would miss if he wasn't the head coach. It's just more like, how does he get those players up for those big games and for the quote unquote little ones, where Miami blows it.
Yeah,
So yeah, there's it's a bunch of different things. John Gruden
I love him.
as
I'm a big Gruden guy, but Gruden wants to go back to the NFL.
yeah, Gruden wants to go back to the NFL. I don't know if he's that interested in heading up college.
I think he might go take a college job, but he would love to go to. I would take Coach O. What if because Coach O he's
Coach
always
was begging for a job the other. I saw a clip of him. He wants one.
he's at Hard Rock Stadium every Saturday. I've passed by him twice now in the last 2 weeks. He's at Hard Rock Stadium. Give me Coach O. Give me Coach O as the head coach, and then put Mario as the GM. You have a recruiting dynasty over there.
Oh yeah. Oh, forever.
Yeah.
But to get to the last point we wanted to hit before we sign off is taking a look at some of the other jobs that are open right now. Jaden, what would you say is, we have Penn State gone, Penn State open, LSU open, a few other ones. We don't know about FSU yet, but we'll, screw it. We'll add them to the list. What would you say is the best open job right now? Florida also open.
So I want to say LSU just for the fact that LSU is the one of, we're talking top 5 programs. It's LSU's one of them. Like their standard, their tradition, it's second to none. However, that tradition is like you have 3 to 5 years of like you have to win a chip within 3 to 5 years. So this is like you got to do it really quick. It's a job where it's super high pressure. They're all watching you. The Louisiana governor had to fire Brian Kelly. That's how serious college football is over in LSU. So
also just to answer Blake's question over here,
yes,
really fast.
So
yeah, this is why. I mean, maybe you're a little bit more used to it if you've been a fan longer. I'm a junior.
I'm a junior.
Jaden's a junior. We're both from out of state coming to Miami, so
Yeah.
we're kind of we're kind of young and new in this space. But
we're consistently in the press box watching this team every single week. So it's like I wouldn't say that we're not in this. You guys are the diehards. We would trust you guys on the long term history insight. The last couple of years, we've been intensely following this team, consistently. But we do trust you guys a lot with a lot of the information, especially in the past.
Historically, big games and everything like that. But not a big Gruden fan over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, Rob Dukes. Brian Kelly is not a great guy.
I was gonna try to avoid mentioning Brian Kelly.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Not a great coach, not a great person, probably an even worse person than coach. But it couldn't have happened to a worse guy. But I would say, like, are we talking in terms of the status of the job, or are we saying like, hey, I would
okay,
LSU.
Okay, the stat one. Okay, we'll separate into two: status of the job, and if you were head coach, where would you trust yourself to have the most leeway in order to build something at?
Ooh, that's a good question because in terms of leeway, I would gotta go FSU at this point because FSU I don't think can afford to fire me. In the event that I were to take the FSU job, they couldn't fire me. They would have to pony up $100 million plus for Norvell. They already just paid for Taggart. Now they're trying to rebuild their NIL fund. Like they're in hell. But we would have so much. I would have so much leeway with FSU. I'd be able to basically control everything over there. But I would say I probably want Penn State would be fun. But LSU is like the job. I think it's like one of the coolest jobs you could probably have to be the head coach of LSU football. Brian Kelly just wasn't a proper fit.
Yeah, he was a bad fit from the beginning.
It didn't help when you're a bad person. So everyone can then just make you even more of like a hater on someone.
Yeah, and then I remember the first press conference when he came out and did the fake Southern accent, and then everybody was like,
yeah, Guy from
what are you doing,
Massachusetts,
guy?
right? I think I believe he's from Mass. Like
Yeah, it was
total
like I
northerner.
think it was just like downhill from there.
Yeah.
Um,
We
yeah, Rob, FSU was stuck with
we do.
Norvell.
Like we know this stuff. We were in a hypothetical that they were to fire Norvell.
Yeah,
It
they're
cost them that much money.
um Lane Kiffin would be perfect for the U.
Lane Kiffin would be awesome.
Yeah, that
I
would.
unfortunately think Lane Kiffin's going. Lane Kiffin's got
Do
whatever
you
he's
do you
gonna
buy the
do.
traction on the Florida stuff or
I do because I think I'm pretty sure it's his wife's alma mater or something like that. But his like the thing for me is like no matter where he's gonna go, he's gonna get paid because
yeah?
if he doesn't go to UF and say Ole Miss just basically gives him $100+ million
Mhm.
extension, he's gonna either get paid as an extension or he gets to go wherever he gets to choose. I I don't know. I think he stayed right now. I think he stays at Ole Miss. I think he's having a lot of fun at Ole Miss. But Florida's definitely in the realm of possibilities. To me, unfortunately, this is a spot. I don't know if unfortunately or not. This is a spot where UF is probably going to make a splash move. It feels like they're going to make one like a splash move
Mm,
for like one of the premier guys. I don't
yeah.
know who, but they're going to spend a lot of money on whoever their new head coach is because they were pissed at what Billy brought them. So
Yeah, and
we'll see.
look,
Again,
look, me and you were Billy guys forever. We were like,
uh,
give him a
we
few more
wanted
years.
Billy Napier needed to stay at
Yeah,
Florida.
I
It's a
mean,
shame
I
that
think
they
it's
fired him.
it's a real tragedy that they let him go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be hard to find somebody else that will replicate what he did.
I would love if UF just hired some like basically Billy Napier 2.0.
James Franklin.
Yeah. just hired another
He is the
dude.
budget option. He is. I mean, like if you're gonna go anyway, he is the budget option. Just
Yeah.
because proven head coach, he's gonna give you a solid floor, and you don't have to pay him much
Oh
because
yeah.
Penn State's gonna split the difference on what you pay him.
Yeah. But
So,
you got Jason Eck, I believe the New Mexico head coach. He's gonna get a job. John Summerall, the Tulane head coach, he's gonna get paid to John Summerall. I think he's gonna go somewhere. Yeah. That was Billy's best move, Jaden Rashada. Okay.
big time, big time.
He- um I think John Summerall is gonna get a really nice job. I think John Summerall, if Ole Miss were to if Kiffin was going to go, I could see John Summerall going to Ole Miss. So there's a lot of different things that they can do. Look, this is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a very crazy coaching carousel. A lot of different moves gonna happen. I'm excited. It's a good thing to look forward to when the season's over, which
Yeah,
actually sucks that we're already in week
yeah.
10.
It's so insane that it's already we're this late into the season. Like,
Crazy.
yeah,
I'm like baffled by it. But
Thanksgiving's around the corner. Like, fine. God, like I don't even want to think about finals. I'm swamped
ooh,
with stuff
I
right now.
like that. That's a
I
good
do like
thought.
this one bit. I
E
really do like this one, Rob.
Eli Drinkwitz to UF could do so. Like UF is going to be rumored for I think
Yeah,
every.
he's gonna be pretty. Yeah, everybody's gonna be rumors for UF just because, like, if you're able to buy Kiffin out, then you're gonna be able to buy anybody out. So
Would you put probably the rankings of the job LSU, UF, Penn State do that?
probably because Penn State's. Sorry, I'm blank. They're not like.
It's the Joe Paterno years is really like what
Yeah.
they're everything they have, and I'll be honest,
Mhm.
not a great end of the Joe Paterno era. With the Sandusky and all that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, LSU and UF being the two awesome, like they're two very good SEC programs. UF having back-to-back national championships is better than Penn State's last chip in I think the 80s or something like that, the 90s. So I don't know.
Probably it would probably go LSU just because they've been more consistent in recent years and just getting talent, getting guys there, and they have a solid floor in terms of who's going to be what you're going to be able to do brand wise there, and then UF probably next up just because they have their whole history. Seems like they're willing to spend. So if I'm a head coach, getting paid, it also helps.
Yeah.
And then probably Penn State just because they've been consistent in terms of building teams. And so there have been guys who've been willing to come there. We'll see if that was more just a result of James Franklin or if that's just a result of, Northeast guys wanting to go to Penn State. And then, I mean, I'm not going to assume FSU's open, but maybe that FSU doesn't seem like they have the money if they were to fire Norvell to go get a big name.
I could see Alex Golesh as well from USF. That's another name. LSU's a better destination as like it's like getting a job to be the coach of the Yankees or something like that, like, or to be the coach of the Lakers. So like it's the job that everyone wants, but do they really want it because the pressure is like all the way up to get to be it's like where Kalen DeBoer is right now at Bama. He's on the hot seat every single week. Whoever the LSU head coach is technically going to be on the hot seat every single week. Brian Kelly did not take a team that had Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas. That team did not make the playoffs.
Don't forget Kayshon Boutte.
And Kayshon Boutte and Kyron Lacey. Like this team was full of dogs on offense. And that team did not make the playoffs because their defense was that bad.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly, like, probably could have got another year if he.
I mean, yeah, they wasted a Heisman campaign from Jaden Daniels. Just.
I really hope they're still paying Willie Taggart. That'd be hilarious. I don't think they are. The Willie Taggart era has been. That was like 4 years ago now from FSU. It's. I don't know, maybe.
Well, no, you just said FSU still paying him.
Oh, they are. Wow, yeah. That's crazy.
That's the thing. Like FSU, that's why FSU, even if they were to fire Norvell, would be unlikely. Would be a really bad job. Like
really was a disaster.
They're not going to get paid very high. They're like you said, they're trying to rebuild their NIL fund and everything. So it's like,
By the way, how crazy the LSU athletic director was the A&M director that hired and fired Jimbo Fisher. And then he was the LSU AD that hired and fired Brian Kelly. He's responsible for $100 million plus of buyout.
Oh my God, jeez!
How does he have the job?
I don't know. If you're swinging and missing like that, that's
$100 million paying to guys that to not coach. And buyout money is nuts. I'm still like, apparently, I don't know how true this is. This is all alleged that Brian Kelly's payout was reduced because LSU used some moral contract, so ended up being like 20 million now, 30 million instead of 58 million. But the original amount of 58 million is just crazy. Is all alleged, the Brian Kelly thing. I'm not gonna speculate. I am speculating.
Contrasting reports is no longer the LSU football coach.
Yeah,
supposed to pay 53 million for Kelly to leave. The initial belief, not accepted penny less. She was expected to compete. Brian Kelly's buyout.
It's from Kari Johnson, who's a radio and TV talk host. From my sources with very close ties to the LSU athletic department and LSU board of supervisors, Brian Kelly and LSU settled his buyout for around $20 million, $30 million plus less than what they actually owed him, utilizing the morals code in his contract. I don't know what.
Yeah, but then it's conflicting reports all around. It seems like more sources. I think same day said, nah, he hasn't agreed on a buyout settlement.
Okay,
so
no speculating. But
I think they're probably working out the legal stuff there, but obviously he's no longer going to be coaching for them, regardless of how that boils down to. But yeah, so
crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Only college football.
Only college football.
There's nothing like
it. And but that'll do it.
Yep.
It's been fun. Jaden, you'll see Jaden back Thursday. You'll see me next Monday. For those of y'all who are able to travel out to SMU, have a phenomenal time.
Yeah.
Dallas
is a fun city. Have fun over there.
I'll be watching it from home.
Me as well. All right. I'll catch you guys.
Later.